Hi, good morning and welcome to day 5 of the Forces March. I'm just in the corner of the field there, away from everybody that don't like to get photographed. 26.3 miles today, last day, from, I'm sorry, is it near Frome, F-R-O-M-E? I wasn't quite paying attention as to where we are. But yeah, this campsite next to a busy road, and the road's next to the railway line, so yeah, a bit noisy on the transport side of it, but what are you going to do? Yeah, it's not a bad morning. People are saying it's a little bit colder, but I can't feel that. I reckon it's going to warm up again. So yeah, on our way to Bulford in Salisbury and the finish line of Forces March number 7 for me, and then it's not going to be put on next year because the logistics of it is just it's overwhelming. The amount of work that goes into putting on an event like this just to raise money for veterans in hardship or suffering hardship. Yeah, which incidentally, if you are considering, if you're still watching at this point and you are considering a donation, for my Just Giving page is justgiving.com/fundraising/minifil FM7. So yeah, if you'd like to put a few quid on that, it'd be very welcome. Alright, cheers guys, chat to you while we're out on the route.
What you will also see is a couple of our marshals. They will be there to safely guide you the wrong way round the roundabout. Your pedestrians, you are not going with the cars, okay? They're going to take you to the right, the shortest distance, and you're going to cross the A36. There is an island in the middle, so they will guide you across. Please do not run or go without their say-so. They will get you across. You then go down into Hapesbury Village. There's a cracking checkpoint there at the Red Lion, where we're being supported by members of Warminster's local RBL and the Royal Green Jacket Association. There'll be less of them than normal because they've got a big do on this weekend, but they're coming out to support us, and Sarah will be there as well to manage the actual checkpoint. So that's Hapesbury checkpoint. When you get from there, you'll head down to Park Street, and again there'll be no dead end signs. You're going down there. We're going off to the left and onto the 36 to join you. Hapesbury, you go down Park Street to the very end, and as you get down the end, it looks like there's nothing there. There'll be concrete blocks in the road. You go through those, carry on to the very end. There is a footpath in the trees that goes up and onto the A36. When you get to the end of that footpath, there is a sign telling you where to cross. There will also be a marshal. The A36 is not a road to mess with, so please follow our instructions and our signage. Cross only when it's safe to do so, alright? That then takes you on to the road to Chitton. There's Nook Camp on the corner, active military camp, and then you're on the Chitton Road, and that's where the fun and games begin. They're fast roads today, fairly open from Hapesbury onwards, so you need to be on the right hand side, unless there's a footpath when you hit Chitton Village. You need to take the footpath there, and our checkpoint in Chitton is off to the left. It's up at the village hall, which is off where the church is. So again, look for the signs. You'll go off the route, up to the village hall, which is about 100 metres up. Get your refreshments, get checked out, and then you'll come back onto the route again. And after that, that's where there's a climb. So it's a tough route today. 26.3 miles. It was 29, but we're cutting it because of that road. So we're going to uplift from here at 9 o'clock, and we're going to go from here down to Forest Road. We'll turn into Forest Road. There's not like a village hall or anything. There's a couple of gateway passing bays. We're going to drop you there. As soon as you are dropped and we feel you are ready to go, Errol is going to be down there to manage that. As soon as you are ready to go, we're going to get you going. All right, rather than build you all up and block the road, okay? So you'll be heading off Pilot 1, will be in front, and there'll be a medic, and we'll make sure the Bravo team are in place as well. Okay? Anyone got any questions on the route? Any concerns? Anything that happened to you yesterday that you wanted to talk about? Okay. Those famous 3 words: hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. It feels cold here. It won't be when you get out there. All right, it will warm up. Make sure high vis, outermost layer, front and back. Okay, make sure it is there. You will want to be seen today. No headphones, audio devices, no phones, no speakers. You need to be able to hear what we're saying. Check in at every checkpoint. That includes support crews, please. We want you, if you're supporting your team, we want all of you at the checkpoints to check in so we know definitely who is on, who is off. All right. If you don't see a sign for 15 minutes, just think about where you might be. Have you missed something? Have you gone wrong? And it gives our trackers a chance to catch up. They were lagging quite a lot yesterday, so we had lots of fun and games wondering where you all were. Make sure you get enough water on. So the checkpoints are reasonably regular, and we're going to do more than any other day. So you're going to actually have 6.5, if you like. So you're going to get one not very far into route, 1.5 miles in, but it gives us a chance to make sure everyone's got from the drop off. Okay, that's Horningsham Village Hall. The next one is going to be a water drop. It will be unmanned, but you'll get down at the 5 mile point to Longbridge Deverill. There's a crossroads, there's a fuel station over on the right. Immediately after the fuel station on the right will be a couple of packs of water drop there. So if you're short on it, pick up some there. Then you go on to Hapesbury. So that's about 9 miles, just over 9 miles in. Chitton is about 14.5. Shrewton is about 18.5. And then Larkhill, as you're heading down through Larkhill, and you'll see signs, you can't miss it. You're heading down through Larkhill, off to the right is the Pack Horse Pub. That's going to be a checkpoint there. Then we're going to do a final checkpoint with just under 1 mile to go. Just to make sure you guys, morale-wise and water-wise, you're going to be fine for that home straight. But once you see Sarah, who will get down to,
they know who I am now.
Get down to the Rose and Crown in Bulford Village. That means you've got less than a mile. So if you're planning on doing just that last bit, no issue whatsoever. That's the good place to get dropped and do that last section in. Thumb up, thumb down. Everyone familiar with that? Yeah. It's been used really well. It's great. Please respond to us if there's a thumb up. Please just let us know you're okay, and that takes any worry away. If you aren't feeling it for whatever reason, you need water, you want a medic, you want to check on something. If you're not feeling right and you've got a query, come down. We'll get to you as soon as we can. All right. You're on the right hand side, remember, right hand side of the road at all times unless there's a footpath. When you get to Bulford, there's going to be a big marquee on site. The finish isn't a place where there's buildings, it's just that it's a former barrack site, big parade square. You won't miss the finish line. Chris and his team are going to be putting out some stuff there. And we've got the final meal from the chefs. It's curry for dinner tonight. And there'll be a couple of VIPs attending, including our president, General Sir Bob Pascoe, who is making the trip from London to come and present the trophies and medals. So once we've had dinner, that will be happening. Please, I know you might be keen to get home and not have to listen to me waffling on anymore, but please don't go anywhere. That's the end of this. That's the celebration. We want you all there for that, all right? That's the route briefing, and now we're going to do the roll call, so we make sure we know who's going, who's not. If you're not going, please say.
Just past first checkpoint, and yeah, the first view of the day. It's nice enough, isn't it? Should have some more, a little bit more scenery today, rather than the usual, the more urban feel that this video has been having of late, the past couple of days. So, yeah. Right. The farmer's churning up the field and all the birds and that, they're getting the seeds. Right, first hill of the day. Okay then, chat to you soon. Right, we're about 3 miles in and the countryside is starting to open up and we're getting some nice views. Still a bit windy and wondering whether I should have put an extra vest on, hoping it'll warm up later, because my bag and all my kit is in the support vehicle on its way to Bulford, so I've no chance of getting that. Anyway, a single shirt and a high-vis vest will have to do. Hey-oh. Yeah, smashy, thanks! There goes Binsey in the brew wagon. Have to set up the brew tent. Well, no, he'll be doing checkpoint duty first, and then he'll set up the brew tent at the last stop. Yeah, if it weren't for that breeze, it'd be a lovely day. Right, chat to you soon. Right, so we've passed Longbridge Deverill and Sutton Veeney, passed through those villages, and now we are, if memory serves, we're on the way into the next village where the Royal Green Jackets have their headquarters, or one of their headquarters down the country, and this will be the next checkpoint and water station, and yeah, they like to put on a show when we get there, and because we all got dropped off at the start together, we're pretty much walking at the same speed, so the line hasn't spread out too far. So yeah, you can probably see people behind there over my shoulder, probably can. These cadets are doing well, as young lads. I mean, 2 days walking is a lot for anybody, any age, but some of these, they're only just 18. Happy days then, 18-year-old. Right, okay then, chat to you soon. Yeah, these are the guys, the Wiltshire branch of the Royal Green Jackets Regiment Association. Right, let's cross the road. Yeah, I think these guys have had a few of the guys who were in the Royal Green Jackets doing the march with the rest of us. Now I don't know if I'm allowed to film this bit, whether there's a policy on filming any serving soldiers. So what I'm going to do, I'll just get it at a distance, and then as we're coming in, I will shut it down. Don't want start upsetting people. There's a lovely Sarah on marshal duty. Right, that'll do. Right, that's us past the village of Chittern and starting to get a bit of scenery at the top of the first little hill, and from now on, because we're past halfway, it will get a little bit lumpy. Not big hills, but just rolling steady up and down, you know. But the scenery will be there, and you can see for miles. I have no idea. I know we're walking towards Amesbury, although we're not actually going to that town. Yeah, can't remember the next town we're going to. I know we do later on. I know we pass the tank training grounds, and although we're heading towards Salisbury and the Stonehenge area, I can't remember having actually seen these stones at Stonehenge. I don't think we actually get to see them. It's a bit of a shame, but there you go. Never mind, you can't have everything, can you? Right. There we are, look. Yeah, the wind's picked up, it's a bit chilly. Could have done with putting an extra top on. But the sun keeps coming out and kind of defeating the object, so I don't know what to do. Right, okay then. Right, so we've just passed through, we are passing through Shrewton. Last but one checkpoint, I think. And yeah, that was 18.9 miles. And although mine says, where are we? Can you say that? I can't say that. Yep, 6.53. Unbelievable. And yet the time's the same, 5 hours 50 minutes. Just unable to acquire the satellites to calculate the distance I've travelled. Yeah. Absolutely useless. I've often wondered if there are fish in this little river, but it's clear as a bell and I can't see anything. Oh, that wind's still picking up a bit. It's got a bit of chill on the day. Anyway, I know it's turned right here and up the hill. Or is that? No, that's another village I'm confusing it with. Right. Let's give you a bit. Yeah. Nice and quiet. Right, okay then, chat to you soon. Right, well I know we're past the MOD training grounds. And I don't know what this road is called, but it just drags a little bit. So yeah, we're coming into the next town now, so it's got to be 5 miles to go. Can't be much more. I can't tell you accurately, but been going 6 hours 54, and I reckon I was thinking about we'd get there 8:15. No, yesterday we did 27.1, in 8 hours 22. Today slightly less at 26.3, so we should get there quicker. Within the hour, that would be nice, which would mean about 3 miles. So yeah, fingers crossed. Right, chat to you soon. Well, just 3 miles to go now. We've just passed the last checkpoint opposite Larkhill Barracks for the Royal Artillery, and that was at the Pack Horse. So yeah, been a bad day really. It's just another park run to go, and that's it. Yeah, so it's up round this corner, to the big roundabout, down through the rest of the houses, and oh, hang on, they were building last time. There was a new housing estate going up at the top of the last hill, if memory serves. So that might be completed now, as it were a few years ago that I did this one. Was it 3 years ago? 2022? Yeah, they might have cracked on with it a little bit. Still, it's not so bad round here, is it? Nice and quiet-ish. Right, chat to you soon. Couple of miles to go, so I'll show you the scenery. It's lovely from where I'm standing, and we drop to the bottom of this hill, turn left, and then along the road towards the abandoned army barracks at Bulford. Yeah, not too far now. I don't know how they ever, when you see Bulford Camp, it will be, to me as a civilian, it's not as impressive as a wonder really. You would think that the MOD would level the place, especially if they're going to make a parade ground that they march on, that they practice their marching drills, and it's on a slope. Are you thinking, who on earth designed this? Probably the local council. Yeah, at the time, council of the 1940s. Right, okay then, chat to you soon. Well, I think I can see the turn for the finish line up ahead. See some orange vests. So, yeah. Right. Where are we? So, at the end of 5 days of the Forces March, one of my thoughts. Enjoyed it again. This was my 7th time. Really annoyed with myself having to get retired at mile 15 on day 1 because of dehydration. So yeah, that's obviously my fault for not drinking. But that hill out of Chalacoon, it's a drag. The rest of it, great. You're back seeing old friends that you haven't seen for about a year, maybe. And it's like that year hasn't existed, if you may. It's like we're just carrying on from one march to the other to the next, even though realistically it was 3 years ago, wasn't it, 2022, that I saw everybody, and the jokes come out and everybody's still happy, and yeah, and the camaraderie and the way people look after each other on this event, outstanding. And yeah, okay, a lot of the guys are ex-servicemen, so there's gallows humour in there. So you've got to factor, as a civilian, you've just got to be aware of that. But if you give as much as good as you'd get, then you're accepted straight away. But if you start taking, no, there's no room for being woke, shall we say, to put it one way. Yeah, scenery's been beautiful. The routes had to change because a few campsites have closed down, and so been some fantastic reorganisation by Danny Greeno, the CEO. Must be a headache every year. So he's not doing it next year because it's logistically it's a flipping nightmare. So hopefully they'll have something else on next year, and we can take part in that and raise money for the veterans charity. Now at the start of today's intro, I told you my Just Giving link. I will put it in the comments below, or in the description rather. And yeah, thanks for watching, and you know what to do. Please like and subscribe, and then I'll get me £2.50 a month after I get 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, that's becoming a standing joke as well. Right, okay then, I'll just pause this whilst I get to the finish line. Right, cheers. Right, well there's a few here. Few finished. I think a few of the relatives are there. Just cheer them in. Those that have got relatives. I'll let this guy go in front of me. So we're catching me up. I think we're across the line together. It's, what is it, stealing his thunder or something? I don't know. Cheers, thanks. Looks like a few of them were dropped. Picked up and dropped. Not far enough. If you're injured, you're injured. So, yeah. Bragging aside, but it's another walk in the park for yours truly. Go on, Phil, like I'm going to sprint the last 100 yards. Behave yourself.
You got your hands in your pocket, you bad lad. Come on, bloody Phil.
Do I look like I'd joined army? They won't bloody have me, mate.
Come on, bloody Phil.
Well done, Phil. He's done it. Easy things. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you. I don't know what's coming first. I think, let's see. I think we'll be having dinner first, and then prize giving. So yeah, everyone's nice and relaxed now that it's all over. And yeah, might film a bit more in the prize giving. Right, cheers.
A relatively new category. In fact, it's one we brought back for this year, and it's the Cadet Challenge Trophy. There were lots of cadet units once wanted to be here, but it is extremely difficult for them to get that sorted. However, one unit did get that sorted, and not just sorted, they did themselves and the entire Combined Cadet Force very proud, and us. Ladies and gentlemen, Rutledge School Sea Next is a very special award. Some of these are named after people. This is called the Ben Parkinson Trophy. We had the honour of knowing Ben, and when the charity first began, I got to know Ben a little and was always astounded at his attitude that whatever was in front of him, he just destroyed it. Didn't matter to him. In fact, he is categorically the most injured serviceman from the Afghanistan conflict. Never held Ben back. And it's right and fitting that the award for overcoming adversity on the Forces March is named in Ben's honour. So, honourable mentions go to John Rose. Honourable mentions also go to Courtney Rose. Almost unanimous. The Ben Parkinson Trophy for 2025 goes to Purple Peaks! Some years ago, on the Forces March 2013, news broke on camp one morning that a serviceman had been killed, and that turned out to be Lee Rigby, and it sent ripples through the march, offended everyone, obviously. I'm honoured to know Lee's parents a little bit. Had a chat with Lynn Rigby some years ago, and I said we'd like to honour Lee. I told her what happened on the march, and that we'd like to name a trophy in his honour, and she said, oh, there was so much about him, well, what do you think? And I said, well, actually, his death, as awful as it was, brought a country together. Spirit was not broken at all. In fact, it unified people. And she said, well, that was Lee with our family, frankly. It's a massive family. She said, we're all at war constantly. Lee would turn up in the room and go, oh, shut up, get the beers out. And his community spirit is what shone out. So the community spirit on the Forces March Award is named in Lee's honour. Honourable mentions go to somebody who's brought a team together, a team that barely knew each other, added into that team, and has been a great part of that team. So, Summer Arthur. Community spirit, not just on this event, but actually on 2 or 3 others, and will be doing again later this year, has brought a team. He drags them from London, but when we talk to the team, they say how much this guy does for cadets and for people involved in it, Ryan Salmon. This isn't going to an individual, this is going to a team. And a team that pretty much every single one of us owes something to. It is our medics!
Smile card. Get in the van. Get in the van.
Next up, another one that has a huge amount of meaning to us, the charity. Some years ago, part of our office team was a guy called Peter French. Peter was former Royal Green Jacket, got involved in the event in its very infancy when we didn't have a clue what we were doing with it really. Pete turned up and said, oh, we need to get water out there. Just devised a way of, and he distributed tons of water up and down the route, really got hold of it. Was a very popular part of our team for some years, and sadly lost the battle to cancer years ago. So this is named the Peter French Award, and it's for the most outstanding crew. Very difficult. They might not hear us, so let's make a noise. Honourable mentions for our chefs! Couple of other honourable mentions. None of you, hopefully none of you, have heard of them. Heard anything they had to say this week, but my God, they've had stuff thrown at them. They've had to be calm, because us out there, when there's an issue, we don't know what the heck we're doing. We keep eyes on. There's been trackers going wrong, there's been radios not working. Oh, can you put something in the log? Oh, Jesus, yeah. Well, I don't know how they've done it so calmly, but Anna, Alf and Sean, you have been mega. Our control team! We turn up, we go and get scoffed, we go and use the showers, we go and use the loos, and we do everything else, and it's all organised and has been superbly done by a really small team. And I know how hard they have to work, how they pulled this off this week, I don't know. So let's have a real big shout, please. Mega honourable mention for our site team. However, there has been one that has been outstanding, somehow above all others, but the graft these people have put in, but also the fact that they just solve problems. Every time there's been something on the radio, oh, we've had an issue here, right, we're on it, and they're gone. And they've protected you more than you will possibly know, and the rest of us. Ladies and gents, the winner of the Peter French Award is our Bravo team, the Right, the next one also has a huge meaning to us. Yeah, no, that's right, mate. This is called the Vince Wellington Trophy. One of our team is Vince's son-in-law, Alan, on our clearance team. Alan got involved in the Veterans Charity because when Vince unfortunately departed this place and went to the best bar in the sky, Alan said, try and fill his shoes, don't know how, but let me see what I can do to help. And he's been a great help ever since. Vince was a hell of a fundraiser for us. He was so committed and very proud to do it. He was forever saying to me, oh, what cases you done recently? Tell me a story. Just really, really wanted to know that his efforts were making a difference to his fellow veterans. So this is called the Vince Wellington Trophy, and it's for the most outstanding individual fundraiser. This is based on data. This is based on facts. So, honourable mentions in third place, this is as it stands today, Ryan James. Well done, Ryan. This is how close this has been. In second place, and was leading until this afternoon, Mr. Dave Harney. However, he has to be first. Jason Mather! He's just shy, for anyone who wants to know anything, he's just shy of £1,500. There is actually quite a list that are really close. So I know that General will say further words, but do not stop. The deadline is 31st of August. Please keep bringing in that money. Go and tell people what you have done. You have done something amazing. The least they can do is open their wallet a bit and support your efforts.
I was going to say
our work. Okay, next up is the Team Fundraising Award, which is this rather splendid gold trophy. This is supported by the PSTC group, which is run by a chap called Paul Parker, who's done the Forces Park several times. He's unable to be here, but wanted to donate a trophy. So this is for the top fundraising team. In third place, Rutledge School CCF. They are currently on just under £2,800. Second place, Ancients UK. I looked at the reports this afternoon, they were 10 quid shy of £4,000. If anyone wants to give them a tenner. But the leaders, the winners, by some margin at present, say at present, keep going. MBDA! They are just under £7,000. So the next one is an unusual one. Because firstly it comes with an apology from me. This hasn't seen the light of day since the last Forces March. Needs a polish. Also, it needs to be re-engraved. We've got winners' names from previous to add to it, but also the name of this is changing. This is currently called the Military Challenge Cup, and it's awarded to a military connected team. This is renamed after an extraordinary bloke, forgive me if I get emotional, This is called the Michael Massey Beresford Trophy. Michael was a founding trustee of the Veterans Charity along with General Pascoe, and grafted, I mean grafted daily, well into his 80s. Was a powerhouse of fundraising and was so passionate about this, and a real character. He came on the march, he changed the march, he came up with some extraordinary ideas. He was eccentric, utterly brilliant. So this will be presented today. We're then going to take it back, we're going to get it properly professionally polished, and then some of us will actually come to you and present it to you properly, and it will be yours to keep until the next Forces March. This is 205 years old. Wow. Donated by Michael's family. So, the Military Challenge Cup. This is an interesting one because technically there aren't any military teams here this year, because our brilliant armed forces are deeply committed, under-resourced, understaffed, jobs got bigger, personnel's got smaller. However, there has still been participation. So, honourable mentions go to not service personnel and not veterans technically, but spouses who play a vital part in our armed forces. Honourable mention to Laura and Annika. To the future of our armed forces. We'll be depending on these people one day. Rutley CCF! However, there is a team here that's impressed us deeply with their organisation, their spirit, their camaraderie, and some of their individual performances. How you've got through it is extraordinary. Anyway, Team RGJ! And my God, have they been good. We'd love to give a trophy to each, but we just can't. So the honourable mention this year goes to Anschutz UK. But to bring a team of this size, to raise that kind of money, and to get through that in the way they've done, it's brilliant. MBDA, And in 2008 we announced we were doing a special event. It was kind of the beginnings of the charity. That was to raise money to put a memorial next to Pegasus Bridge in Normandy, the very start of D-Day. Last year, the charity finished that story by putting a memorial at the other bridge, at Porter Bridge. When we rolled this out, 2 rifles got straight onto it. Mark was no stranger to challenges and supporting charitable causes. Got in touch, he said, yeah, we'll have a team. We've got teams from lots of different places. However, Mark then got in touch and said, I'm sorry, we've been deployed, we're off to Afghan. But typical Mark, he said, we are not going to be giving up. we'll do something. Let me get out there, get the lads and lasses squared away, and we'll do something. What that man came up with was to row the distance. So they had ISOs with rowing machines. They had 8 of them laid out. So he got a team of 8 people from his battle group, and they rowed in 30 days. Bearing in mind they were doing this after coming back from patrols every day, and they had a pretty hectic tour. They rowed the distance from Sangin, where they were, to Pegasus Bridge, 5,700 kilometres, with 8 of them. During that, a female member of the team broke a British record. Mark rowed further than anyone else, despite being considerably older. Tragically, in August 2009, Mark lost his life, saving the life of another soldier. Says it all. So for the most outstanding male, it's the Mark Hale Trophy. Honourable mentions to Billy Mycott. And, bear with me, this is how tough this has been. Stephen Ball. Bob Starbuck. Frank Harkness. And we can't let it go without mentioning, because of that extraordinary finish, Ben Kimberley. This was so difficult to choose, it really was. But the runner-up for this, and getting a bottle of drink, is Ian Parsons. There is only one, however. The recipient of the Mark Hale Trophy this year is Jason Mather.
Beers on you, Jason.
It's from Yorkshire. So,
Yeah, you've got to catch me first.
the next trophy is, of course, the most outstanding female. This is named after Sarah Bryant, who was among the first service personnel, and certainly the first female service person to lose their life in the Afghan conflict. And I met Sarah's father at an event a couple of years later, and read a book that he put out about her, and I thought she really was outstanding. There were so many citations and comments from her peers and her comrades about how unique she was and just how utterly extraordinary. So this is the Sarah Bryant Trophy. Honourable mentions, we've got one or two. Courtney Rose. Summer Arthur. One of our ambassadors, Tracy Robinson. This was close.
bells.
Has to be Annika and Laura. So wrong not to honour one or two persons. They've been very quiet. We haven't really seen them this week, but do you mind dragging that remarkable chef team out here, please? Yes! If you will, this might seem biased, but this is damn well earned. Every single Forces March, and he grafts, he really grafts, and I'm so proud of the job he's done this year because it ain't an easy one. Pilot 1, my dad Chris! Okay, there are just three more things. Thank you for bearing with us. Over the years, as you would have seen, our ops team deliver. There are people amongst them who are just phenomenal. We cannot possibly dream of doing an event that's as complex, logistically challenging, risky, demanding and hard graft as the Forces March without a brilliant team of people. And there are a few amongst them who really have delivered, not just this year, but every year and for a long period of time. Somebody else, please grab the camera so she can't anymore. This is Sarah's 10th major event for the Veterans Charity. Next up is someone who has been involved in 9 major events for the Veterans Charity. Not just is this guy probably the hardest working person I know, but is a problem solver. He's a person who comes up with most of what you've seen, helps with policies, helps with all manner of stuff, and he doesn't have to do a great job of it. Sergeant, finally.
Well done, Chris. Cheers, mate.
And the last one. Many years ago when the charity first began, we had a meeting with some people up in London about this bonkers idea we were going to do. And do this run thing to Normandy and build a memorial. It was all crazy. And we met with a PR agency and there was a guy working there who said, look, before anything else, we start this meeting, I'm in. You're in to the run. You're weird. 5 miles in 24 hours. Since then, he has done 9 forces marches. He has run that entire route twice in one go. One of them in 31 hours. He also slogged his guts out in the office, voluntarily helping us procure all sorts of stuff, put together databases, marketing stuff. Most of what you've been munching on at checkpoints and drinking, keeping you going, is down to his hard work. And I hope it's not, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is because he's earned the rest. This is probably his last forces march. But please, well, we'll try and convince him not. But anyway, please go absolutely berserk for Rob Stubbs.
Well, that was quite a marathon performance by Danny, but he had to get through all that. 40 minutes and 50 Who won?
You think I would know? And you will eventually.
We always time him, and there's a bit of a gamble about who might get nearest to the right answer. Who was it tonight?
I can't remember. Somebody said.
Congratulations.
I won't keep you much longer, but a very small gathering like this is so important because it helps us as a charity to disperse money to many, many more people. And sadly, that number of people wanting help is growing every year. We keep putting the numbers up each year. Luckily, thanks to people like you and many others outside this room, we are well off for money at the moment. But the more money we have, the more good we can do to help veterans, male, female, any service. We are a tri-service organisation. We don't distinguish between them. Most of our customers, if I may use that word, are in the army, because we tend to enlist and train a lower educated man, and when they leave the army they do not know how to look after themselves and they get into trouble and they need help from people like us. We are the only charity that can respond in hours, not days or weeks. That's why we are so important, and we are being recognised by many other big charities as a very special niche outfit. So thank you all for helping us to do that job. I'm wearing now in my berry a bugle, which was the sign of the cap badge of my regiment, the Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, which I joined from Sandhurst in the 1950s. I knew several of the officers and men who were with John Howard when they captured Pegasus and Orme Bridges in 1944. And this march recreates, as Danny has told you earlier a few days ago, this march was a training march after doing cliff climbing and swimming and fuel firing down in Devon, and the colonel said we're going to march back to Bulford. It was August 1942, and I'd like to read you John Howard's description. At the end of 3 weeks, the company, that's his company called D Company, decided that we would do better than anyone else. On the morning of the 27th of August, in full kit, marching over the hills of Devon in blazing hot sunshine. In those days, I carried a stick that I habitually marched with it. It had a brass cap that made a noise as it struck the road with each stride. The men sweated and cursed in their heavy serge battle dress. You know the feeling up there. Even I remember it as an absolute hellish experience. Men were falling by the wayside, left, right and centre from the ranks of the regiment, even from my company. I decided to act swiftly by pulling the men aside that I knew were stirring up the unrest and giving them a sharp lecture on discipline. John Hard was quite a strong disciplinarian. We camped by a stream for the night, and the men asked if they could wear lighter clothes next day. Permission was granted to march in their shirt sleeves. We marched almost 30 miles to St Andrew's Bay the following day, where they again camped for the night. Some of the men were so dehydrated and exhausted that we didn't set off until lunchtime the next day, but managed to march 14 miles during the afternoon. The men were still marching in their shirt sleeves when the temperature suddenly dropped and a cold, hard rain fell, soaking every man to the skin. Still, I noticed optimistically in my diary that D Company were marching better than their spirits were high. We spent the third night jammed into a Salvation Army hall, and none of us slept well. The regiment was off early next morning. During the day, one of D Company collapsed, and having lost another one to heat exhaustion on the first day, we were now 2 men down. We spent the third night in a village school, and because we were not so cramped, all of us managed to sleep better. On the fourth day, the men were put onto hard rations, and Todd Sweeney, that's one of his officers, was particularly suffering from badly blistered feet. His feet actually ran with blood that seeped into his boots, but he went on marching. My brass-capped walking stick was beginning to look battered and worn. The fourth night was passed in a hutted camp, which I thought at the time was very cushy, but possibly anything with a roof was looking good by that time. At last, the end was in sight, and D Company's excellent marching meant that we were placed at the head of the regiment. I later learned that one of the men, Tom Packwood, had said to his mate that he reckoned that I had a bet on with a couple of other officers that D Company would win the place at the head of the regiment. And I didn't care if the poor buggers crawled back into my block, as just as long as they marched in first. I believe Wally Parr, another of his riflemen, had quipped, "I know where I'd like to ram that bloody walking stick." But despite the grumbles, they marched better than ever, because no one wanted to let D Company down. We covered 25 miles on the last day, and for the final 5 miles, we had to march at full regimental pace with rifles trailing, just for good measure, with the band playing us into camp. Major Young took the salute as D Company swept into Bulford camp in record time, and I can truthfully say it was one of my proudest moments. D Company's feat was the talk of the regiment. Poor Todd Sweeney only just made it, and it was later said he marched on courage alone for the last 2 days. The brass cap on my walking stick was worn almost entirely away, and I discarded it. Wow. That puts your efforts into perspective. And that was 2 years before they went into action. They did the march again the next year, but it was pretty cushy because they had buses as far as Taunton.